Welcome everyone. This is so exciting, bringing you all together. My name is Melina Chan. You can call me Mel, and I use she, her, and they, them pronouns. I'm a co-producer of the Doing Better Work Together global online gathering. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I'm currently joining you from the land of the Dja Dja Wurrung people. Stolen land that we call Castlemaine for the past 170 years or so. I wanted to pay my respects to the Dja Dja Wurrung elders past and present and thank them for their ongoing care of culture, people, flora, fauna, land and water. For those of you perhaps not so familiar with such an introduction, this acknowledgement is an important part of our First Nations protocol on this continent where I am, so-called Australia. Here there remains unfinished business for the treaties with First Nations, as well as the ongoing devastating effects of colonisation. And I hope that we're mindful in our conversations today of both the respect and action required to find true justice. I also know that there is a lot we can all learn about doing better work together from Indigenous communities and acknowledge that we're always learning and practicing, which I'm sure we'll be able to share together in this week. Welcome to the Doing Better Work Together gathering.
Hey folks, my name is Ant and I'm the other co-producer of this gathering. It's so great to see so many faces on this call this morning, and all of a sudden it's all becoming real. I've had a few people ask me questions about where this event came from over the last couple of weeks, so I just wanted to share briefly some of the backstory. So in 2018, I helped to co-produce a book called the Better Work Together book with my friend Susan Basterfield and a big group of us from Inspiral. And that book was a collective reflection on how we built Inspiral, which was just one self-governing, self-managing collective of entrepreneurs. And we had some interesting processes about how we work together. And I was reflecting in the years since then, since we published the book in 2019, we've all had a really unprecedentedly weird and difficult, challenging, and many ways transformational time. With COVID and the global pandemic, I, for one, definitely felt, and I know many of you also will have, the visceral disconnect that came from not being able to meet, not being able to connect, not being able to build community the way that we normally would. And the real value of those connections just feeling so important, knowing that they were impossible. And for many others as well, being shoved out of a normal working environment and into a hybrid remote one where everything gets done online. Violent for some and easy for others. And then the other big pattern that I noticed over the last 3 years relevant to our work is this rising wave of crypto, blockchain, decentralization, and decentralization not just in the technology, but in the organizing systems. And so the thought that we had earlier this year is that the ideas that we wrote about in that book, they actually seemed more useful now than when they were first published. And it was from that little seed that an experiment started to come into view. Melina and I both live in the same small town in Australia, and so it was too much of a cherry to not try and do a collaboration with someone hyper-local. So we started talking about an event, and we had a few questions like, could we turn the ideas from the book into an event, and could we turn it from an inward-facing reflection about one organization, Inspiral, and could we turn that into an outward-facing provocation to the whole ecosystem? Because there's so many people doing this great work all around the world. Would people be keen for this? Would organizations be keen to support it? Would people show up? Obviously, we're here today because the answer was yes. We had 13 organizations put their hands up really quickly and say yes to supporting this event. There were folks building software tools at Lumio and Consider It. We had quite a few teams who are walking the walk, doing work differently, from Percolab, Greater Than, Optimi, The Hum, Amble Studio, Tough Leadership Training, as well as organizations who do the work convening, building networks and building infrastructure to support people, the Value Web, Coralus, and Open Collective. So it's because these organizations said yes that we're here today. They took the idea to the starting line, and I'm super grateful for that. And then as we put the call out for speakers and folks to help build the schedule, lots of topics emerged really quickly. We had heaps of ideas around governance, leadership, organizational structures, bossless organizing, self-management, asynchronous collaboration, and also a lot of talk about building community, trust, relationship building, self-awareness processes, growth practices, multiplayer meditation, applied wisdom, how we build care, playing games together. And so on the surface, all of the stuff, it became hard to make it feel coherent. It's not just a cooperatives conference. It's not just a culture conference. It's not a Web3 summit. What is this thing actually about? And so slowly, like a golden thread came into focus. And I think that's the thing that still feels very real to me. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing emerge in the next 4 days. And that is this idea that there are enough people around us now that recognize that in order for us to deal with the systemic urgent challenges that we have in front of us, we know that we need to not just do more things or do different things. We need to do different things differently. And that's where this idea of let's change how we change the world came from. So that's my big hope and big idea, is that we're all working on that stuff. And by focusing on the radical innovation at the organizational layer, how we structure ourselves, how we work together, that can have profound impacts on the actual outputs we create. And so together we represent a very small network that represents that big idea. Mel's going to share a little bit more about the specific network that we are today in this event.
Thanks, Ants. So together we are over 300 humans dialing in from 38 different countries. It has completely blown my mind, and I think this is a true global gathering. Creating this event with sessions that are accessible to all time zones around the world is a massive design challenge, and Ants and I and the crew had a really fun time tackling that design challenge. Not everyone listening to this talk is here on this call, so being able to really create something that both featured and centered live sessions, as well as tons of rich opportunities to engage asynchronously and at waking hours for you, and at times that, you know, where your energy is just right, was part of that design challenge. Over the coming 4 days or 5 days, depending on where you are in the world, we'll be hosting 30 sessions that we have kind of programmed for you all, plus whatever it is that you create in the community stage and conversations cafe section. And we'll be led by over 40 workshop leads and fantastic speakers. I'm really amazed at this group of practitioners who have stepped up and said yes, who have said yes to sharing their insights, their hard-won learnings, and methods and tools with us all. And I also know that there's so much magic in the room that I don't know about that I'm excited to hear and learn more about too. If you joined us for some of the welcome calls last week, you'll have a bit of understanding about what I'm going to cover in the next few minutes already. But at a high level, I just wanted to take you through some of the essentials on how to make the most of the next few days. So I'll just be sharing my screen. Let's start here. This is Mighty Networks, and I think of our Mighty Networks platform that's holding a space for us as participants today as our portal in to connect with all of the different bits and pieces. On the left here, you'll see all of our events listed in kind of chronological order, and the time zone here is listed in your local time zone. So you can jump in and RSVP to sessions that you're interested to go to, and just click the link here at that time to join the sessions. You'll also be able to post questions and answers before, during, and after the sessions in that event themselves. So absolutely starting point, Mighty Networks. There are lots of different things that you can click through here to explore and connect with. Another way, perhaps a helpful visual way to kind of depict our time over the next 4 to 5 days, is this participant schedule. It's sort of a bird's eye level view of what you can see as 8 different blocks of sessions that we've been arranged loosely in 2 rows. So the way I think about it is this time zone block here is really designed for the Americas, the waking hours of the Americas, and in the late evening for some folks in Europe and Africa, and in the early morning for folks like me in Australia. And this block at the bottom here is designed to catch folks in both Europe and Asia sort of time zones as well. Also, it's worth noting now, also for those that were here from the start of the call, we're recording this session. We're recording our lightning talks and workshops, and we'll be publishing them on the platform for you to listen into together or alone later on if something happens to be at a time that you're not able to make. So here we are, we're right at the beginning. We've color coded these as well. So a very brief overview of what's what in here. Yellow sessions are essentially our openings where we'll be featuring lightning talks from folks that are running interesting and inspiring projects. And those openings will flow into workshops. So we'll have 2 workshops running at the same time that you'll be able to choose from, 80 minutes per workshop. And yeah, we'll have essentially 2 workshops in a block. All of this is hosted here on the Zoom platform, as well as these pink sessions, which are reflection labs, which are interactive workshops facilitated by our Doing Better Work Together team to really make sense of some of the things we've been hearing about over the past few days, like how we can apply them to our contexts, having a chance to learn about and listen to the work and projects of others and those sorts of things. So that's the yellow, the blue and the pink. Then in the orange, we've got our Creating Connections with Amble Studio sessions. That's what's coming up next, just at the half hour. They are going to be hosted in GatherTown, an interactive platform that will be open for the whole week for participants to explore, connect in, create their own sessions in, and all of that good stuff. Our green sessions, our community stage and conversations cafe, will also be hosted on GatherTown. So if you're a participant and you want to do a short talk or host a workshop, you can look up these green events on the Mighty Networks and use the sign-up sheet there. All of the details are there. Just very quickly, this is our welcome guide. This is linked from our Mighty Networks menu, but also gives you an overview of the essential links of what you kind of need to be set up well. I think that that's a good overview. You know, here it is. So the invitation is to explore and enjoy the content, connect with each other, spark new collaborations, you know, maybe grow a movement, who knows, meet up with your friends, find new friends, reconnect, and learn together. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Something I wanted to share a little bit about was kind of what is my why for pulling together this kind of big challenge, I think it was, to put this together. Connecting communities and humans and movements is completely a part of my DNA. As a member of the Inspiral Network and as part of the DSIL global community, these are 2 of my homes for practice and learning, but actually a really big part of my practice and of who I am is actually weaving and connecting between these communities. And of course, being able to seize opportunities to put those weavings into action on the ground with grassroots social projects. After a couple of really tough and quite hunkering down years, this year, like, I've been feeling a real pull towards, like, casting my eyes a little bit more towards the horizon, lifting up from some of the lockdowns and really thinking about what next and what now. I guess it just felt ripe to create space for a little bit of reinvigoration and reimagining of our teams and of our communities and of what we're all capable of together. Organising this event over the past 4 or 5 months, we have encountered consistent disruption. This is perhaps case in point, most compellingly for why now. You know, we've both been struck down with COVID. We've had speakers stuck offline for days and some for weeks, dealing with hurricanes in Florida, wildfires in Spain, storm evacuations in Canada. We've both been affected by floods here in Castlemaine. This is the world we have. It's not abstract, it is real. When you're working through this stuff, adaptability matters, resilience matters. You know, being able to connect with one another matters and offer that support and empathy. Those things really matter. The things we're talking about and what it means to do better work together, they are the things we really all do need right now. So personally, I'm excited about the opportunities we all have for building deeper connection and catalyzing small groups and pods to continue the journey beyond this week. For me, a big part of the why is together. Over to you, Ants.
Just one more little thing from me. But by the way, if anyone hasn't ever collaborated with Melina, she's an awesome person to run a conference with, and all of that time zone wizardry, that's definitely her domain. I just wanted to share that I had a real bolt of excitement yesterday afternoon, and it happened when I was scrolling through the members directory of the Mighty Networks. And so if you haven't done that yet, I recommend you do it. It's an amazing group of people that have shown up for this. It's a real network of networks. And that was something that we really, really had to focus on from the very beginning, because we didn't actually have a network and we didn't want to make this just another Inspiral event. Although it is lovely to see some of my old friends from Inspiral here on this call. And we really, really wanted to make sure that we encouraged other people to invite other people. And as a result of that, we've got heaps of folks working across cooperatives, DAOs and Web3, networks, startups, agencies. And what really sort of comes home for me with that is that it's really just about people. And so the question that I'm sort of sitting with over the next 4 days, and I encourage you to also think about, is how can we accelerate and amplify this worldview, this collective worldview? How can we help each other? How can we add value to each other? Can we help all of this stuff go bigger, faster, and bolder? And really, truly, to make this event your own, like own it. Mel and I are not running this event to win consulting leads or anything like that. Like, this is very much an ecosystem community event. There will be rough edges. We are trying a bunch of different things that we haven't tried before. There's lots of space for co-creation and coloring outside the lines, and we really value that. So go for it. And just a prompt that I think the real magic is going to be found in each other and in the connections that we haven't planned. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing what emerges, what we learn, and all the new stuff that bubbles up through it. So that's all from me for now. Really, really great to see you all here. Looking forward to connecting more deeply through the event. Mel, I will pass it over to you to close us off.
Thanks, Ants. So where are we in the event itself? We're at the beginning. Beginnings are important, so thank you for being here with us to begin well. I've just added Benjamin and Bridget to our spotlight, wanted to introduce them quickly as part of our amazing delivery squad, primarily helping out in this time zone block. We also have a big crew of helping hands, just seeing who else might be here as well. Jorium, coordinating session recordings to turn around these videos. Sorry, I didn't let them know that I was going to do this beforehand. Hey everyone, say hi. We've got Sunny from the Value Web with live graphic facilitation, and Maria helping out with facilitating the Reflection Lab with our crew. And of course, from here over the next few hours, we'll be moving into a couple of sessions designed by the Amble Studio. So Amble Studio is a collection of collaboration specialists, facilitators, and game designers working out of NAM, Melbourne, Australia. Their work is focused on bringing better ways of working to communities of all kinds through the power of play and gameful design. The Amble Studio team is really proud to be contributing to the Doing Better Work Together conference and can't wait to meet you in their Creating Connection session coming up just in a few moments in the interactive GatherTown platform. So we've got 2 of these Creating Connection sessions coming up in the next couple of hours. You can go to one, you can go to both, it's up to you. This room is going to close shortly. So if you want to dive into some of the active interaction and connection with folks, follow the links to GatherTown, and we'll see you there soon. Before I close us all off, is there anything from the crew that they wanted to add? Amble crew, anything you want to say here? I can spotlight you.
Yeah, I'm here, Haley. You're welcome to join us for the Creating Connection session. Even if you didn't sign up, just come to the GatherTown and the link, and then head south. We'll see you there in a couple minutes.
See you there. Thanks,
Bye.
Haley.